I'm Joe Pietaro. We're here at Box Fit in Patchogue, New York, along with the amateur MMA fighter James Funaro. Obviously, everybody knows we've been bantering back and forth on the UG and the Bushido message boards, and we're leading up to what's going to come down to, we don't know at this point. We're hopefully going to come and see an MMA fight at the UCL card in February between you and Christian Darrow. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's all of this stuff going on where they're questioning this, that, and the other thing about Christian. Does that really mean anything to you at this point?
You know, me and Christian, we had our thing. Obviously, you guys already heard about the story. We had our scuffle already. We had our talks. We had our disputes. I really don't care, to be honest. You know, I don't care if he's teaching real stuff, if he's teaching, if he's just a gym owner. I really don't care. You know, the fact that a date for a fight's been set, that's cool. I'm happy.
And we're looking at a fight with the UCL, so we'll be Vale Tudo.
Vale Tudo, anything goes.
Anything goes that night, which I guess we'll find out who's going to walk out of that ring that night and see, you know, what was the final outcome of all of this. Hopefully there could be a final outcome, and then you guys at the end of the night shake hands, win, lose, or draw, whoever walks out of there.
We already shook hands. You know, the first time we had our scuffle, we had a fight, you know, we were just like, all right, good stuff, man, later, you know. I mean, once again, we really don't have a problem with each other. But it will be fun. It's definitely cool. I definitely want to fight them just because the whole backstory.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool.
I mean, and bottom line, it's going to be a fight between two guys that want to have a fight. Not because there's bad blood, because there's people on the internet talking shit about it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a fight, and that's it. I mean,
if there was bad blood, you know, between us, we live close enough to each other, and I think we're both crazy enough that, you know, he wouldn't have a car, and then he would come down and he would smash my windows out, and then I would go in front of his house and be like, you know, I mean, there's really no bad blood, really. He came here, we did our thing, and that was it. He says he's not teaching, cool. So I don't think there's much to be, you know, really angry at him for. I understand people want those questions answered. There's a big list. I want to know too. That's the only point of contention, 20 questions.
Yeah.
If they could be answered, that'd be great. The fight's not going to answer them, so I'm not really putting too much, you know, into that. That's not really what it's about.
To me, the bigger question is, okay, the whole thing with the fight league. You know, so that's a question that I'm looking to get answered myself, and I'm looking to follow up with Christian on that. And we've already spoken, and we're going to try to take care of that and make sure that we get some of these things put out there. Because if people have these questions and they're calling me and putting me on the spot saying, well, how could you interview this guy and not ask these questions? I wasn't aware of a lot of these questions. Now I am. So now I'm going to try to do what I got to do to get those questions answered. But I mean, the bottom line is you guys have both seemed to be really cool with each other on the boards. You've been going back and forth with each other. He was respectful of you. You know, he says that you hit hard as hell. You know, he came straight out and admitted that. He said that you're a talented fighter. He's showing confidence saying that he's going to knock you out. Now, to me, that's just, listen, you have to have a little showboating in this, in any type of form.
It'd be kind of stupid if he didn't think he was going to knock me out. I mean,
why would he go in there?
Why would he want to fight, you know?
Exactly.
That's like people all the time. I got a fight come and say, are you going to win? I said, no, I plan on getting my ass kicked. You know, thanks a lot. Don't ask me those stupid questions, you know. So, of course he thinks he's going to knock me out. I think I'm going to knock him out, you know. That's pretty much how the fight game works.
You have to have confidence going into a fight, and like I mentioned before, I did watch a lot of your fights on YouTube and stuff, and you definitely have the skill. You know what's going on. Christian, it's an unknown thing. We don't know what he could do because we haven't seen it yet. So I think that's what makes
about it. I think the heel thing is, and the baby face, that's fake. It's nothing fake. I mean, I want to know answers to these questions too. I don't lose sleep over it, but it's an interesting question. I'm like, what fight league is this guy part of? You know, and hopefully we find out because you know, it's what's happening in my community in mixed martial arts. So I want to know. You know,
and a lot of people have said that he's banned for the sport and things along those lines. But if he's open to school and he brings in trainers like he said he is, and people want to know the names of these trainers, they don't know what their qualifications, credentials are. But Christian has admitted straight out, I'm not a trainer. I don't know these things. I don't have these degrees and things like that. So I'm bringing in guys that do know that. Do you have a problem with that, or him just saying that, or like everybody saying, show your cards and say, who are these guys? What's, you know, who are you bringing in?
I have a big problem with him opening up a gym because that's competition. But no, if he has a gym and he opens up a gym, more power to him. You know, it's a free country. Do what you want. If he's hiring good trainers, quality trainers, awesome. I mean, I really can't hate on anybody for that in particular. That's a separate issue, him having a gym with trainers, I think, than the other questions people ask. But like I said before, you portray yourself a certain way, people are going to ask questions, and they're going to assume the worst because you put forward a bad showing. You say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I did in prison. You know, people aren't going to say, oh, this must be a nice guy. So no, this guy's a guy from prison. It's not necessarily bad. It's not makes you a horrible person. You know, everyone messes up, some more so than others. But when you hire these trainers, like you say you're going to do, and then you don't tell people the names, they're inclined to think the worst. Whereas if I were to do the same thing, you know, and I'm a nobody, but if I were to say, if I came under questioning and I told some guys, said, hey, I'm opening up a gym and I'm hiring some trainers, and they said, who? And I said, I'll tell you next week. They're not going to care. They'll wait till next week. They don't care, you know, because they don't. There's nothing there for them to care about.
Now, you mentioned to me that you have trainers here that you've hired that do different type of styles. Who are some of these guys that?
Yes, we have some awesome trainers at the gym. Our first guy we hired, when we first started, myself and Colin McClone were teaching here for the first couple months, and our goal was to get people who are much better than us teaching. So we did that. We have Joseph Sholey. He's a two-time JUCO All-American wrestling coach here. He also is a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, he regularly competes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and in open class tournaments for wrestling. So he still take you know, on top of his game. He tosses people around like nothing. We also have, he teaches the wrestling, obviously. We also have Sean Gray. His name was Bronco. He's a Joe DRC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. Really good, excellent guy. He took first place in the Nogi Pan Ams recently in the heavyweight division, I believe, for brown belts. So he's obviously no joke. He wrestled in college, wrestled in high school, obviously, to get there. So we have good staff. We have guys who are former pro sparring partners. We have former pro boxers on staff. My kickboxing coach. We have real strength and conditioning coaches. You know, not just people who got their certification online. We have guys who train wrestling teams, football teams, everything. So we have a nice, good team here.
And just give the location. You got a website you want to give out?
Anything to pump it up. It's boxfitusa.net. The name of the gym is BoxFit. Again, boxfitusa.net. We're at 208 East Main Street in Patchogue, New York. Check us out on the web and come on down, see what you think.
And one last question. Will it be you or your twin brother Joe in the ring against Christian?
Well, I'm not sure. We're still deciding. You know, we have to. We do have to take into account the whole issue with the athletic commissions in other states. Amateur mixed martial arts is not sanctioned in New York. Doesn't mean it's illegal, but other states such as New Jersey, they frown upon it. They will ban you from some of their shows. They're not too happy. Technically, all you have to do is what I did to compete amateur in New Jersey is to get your professional medicals, get a brain scan, things of that nature, show that you're still, you know, healthy to compete. Certain shows like the Ring of Combat took it a step further and said they're going to ban you from competition if you compete underground. I think that's crap. You know, I don't think another state should be trying to regulate what's happening in another state.